Hi, I'm Vice Mayor Linda Bartz, and I want to welcome you to another segment of Helping Hands. Today, I'm excited to have my first guest, who not only is a guest, but is a good friend. So today I have Judi Miller with Big Brothers and Big Sisters. Hi, Judi. Thanks for being here. I'm so excited.
Thanks so much for having me today, Linda. I really appreciate it.
This is such a great organization. We have gone back many years and talked about it and been involved in it, and it's amazing. You know, I think that people think about Big Brothers and Big Sisters and the Bowl for Kids' Sake, and we'll talk about that.
Oh, good.
But let's talk a little bit about what people may not know about, which is what the programs really are and what that provides for our community.
I would love to talk a little bit about Big Brothers, Big Sisters, our kids, our mentors, the programs, the impact that it has, because honestly, Linda, to me, Big Brothers, Big Sisters is transformational. I've seen it in 1,000 smiles. I've seen it in just the way our kids and their mentors interact with one another. And, you know, to this day, I've been with Big Brothers, Big Sisters almost 24 years now. And it never ceases to amaze me and just light my heart watching the relationships grow and develop. Our kids that probably 90% of them come from really difficult situations, family situations where they're facing adversity. A lot of it because of poverty. Probably 90% of our kids overall qualify for free or reduced lunch or are at 150% of the poverty level or more. You know, I think about what that means for families and real life situations where parents are just struggling to be sure that they have a roof over their children's heads, a meal to be able to put in front of them, utilities for the next day, the same home from day to day. And sometimes with those very real struggles, there isn't the time or the energy to think about the future or to help their kids think about the future. And that's what our Big Brothers and our Big Sisters are just so wonderful at doing.
How do parents find out about Big Brothers and Big Sisters?
Well,
or are they referred through the schools? I mean, you know, a parent who is struggling in that many areas, do they even have, in some cases, time to think about how do I put my hand out? Where is there help?
Yeah, that's, you know, that is a very real issue. For us, we're very lucky because we have a large school-based program that we'll talk about a little bit later. But the teachers themselves refer kids to us, kids who are struggling readers in kindergarten through 3rd grade. So it's right from the very beginning when children are very young and most impressionable. And you know, that's a terrific way for families to connect with Big Brothers, Big Sisters. Of course, once they pass the age that they qualify for that school-based reading program, they can continue on in our community-based programs that really work with kids who are older, all the way up to 18. But you know, we have a lot of travels word of mouth between parents in neighborhoods where one child has a big brother and all of a sudden we get a call from another parent in that neighborhood saying, you know, my friend has a big brother or big sister for their son or daughter, and I really need that for my child. So we get referrals through schools, through other social service agencies. We get it through counselors. We get it through mental health professionals, any number of ways. Okay. But parents themselves call as well.
So we've talked a little bit about that, but if I actually have gone through the 3rd grade. I'm pretty intelligent. I'm a reader. There is not any maybe out and out indicators, but maybe it comes to 5th grade and something happens at home, whatever that case may be. What does it mean for me to get a big sister? We're talking about, yes, we provide, but what does that mean for me?
Well, it is a wonderful thing, and oftentimes problems don't just crop up later on. They might be there and just not be recognized. But say you've got a little girl in 5th grade that all of a sudden is going through a family situation with divorce, or a parent who's incarcerated, or a death in the family, all of which just have huge impact on a child and the family themselves. And they call big brothers, big sisters, and they say, I really need a mentor. Well, we'll look to match the child's needs with a mentor's strength. And we have a process on both sides. So with a volunteer, let's talk for a minute about what a volunteer goes through before we accept them as a big brother or big sister. And then we'll talk a little bit about what the family goes through, and then how we match them, and then what they might do. So a volunteer goes through an enormous amount of background screening, because in today's times you just can't afford not to be as careful as you possibly can be. And so that means background screening, a significant amount of background screening at the local level with the local sheriff's department, but it also is at the state level, and fingerprinting. Driver's license check if a child is going to be driven by the mentor. There are 3 references where our intake counselor calls and actually talks with people who know that person well. It's amazing how honest those people end up being, because they know that a person's going to be with a child, and
absolutely.
So those references. Then we do a very comprehensive interview, and then beyond the interview, we do an assessment, and we look at strengths and relative weaknesses, and what we think that a volunteer might be best, who a volunteer might be best matched with. And just a point of interest is that we do pay for all the background screening. It's about $90 a volunteer, but Big Brothers Big Sisters covers that cost for the volunteer. The child and the family come in, and we do a separate meeting with the parent to find out what they're really concerned about and why they're referring. And then we also sit with the child. And usually the meeting with the child is in the home, so they feel real comfortable. And once we have all of that information, we look to see good fits. Geographically, are they close enough together so it's not going to be 45 minutes travel just to get to the activity. Then we look for interests and compatibility, because we always ask both the mentor and the parent and the child, what are you looking for in a mentor or a child? What are your priorities? And then we look to personality, what we think will bring out the best in each other. And so once we find the good match, then we do, in community-based, a pre-match meeting where we talk with the parent about the potential volunteer that we have to see that they think that's a good option. And then we meet between the parent, the volunteer, and the child, and actually come up with an agreement that they all sign that reinforces expectations. But before we reach that stage, there is training for the mentor as well. Okay. And then there's ongoing support and supervision for that mentor and the match. So, what are we trying to get out of the match? Well, we talked a little bit earlier about the fact that families who are living in poverty or facing other adversities, struggles, they're concentrating on the here and now. And what we want to do is to try, through a mentor and a relationship, a great relationship with a child, to get them to be able to think about hopes and dreams for the future, and then what their plans might be, how they could actually reach those hopes and dreams. And you know, the mentoring is not a lot about spending big dollars. It just really isn't.
It's time.
The gift is time. The gift is a listening ear. The gift is sharing information and experiences. Not that, you know, mentors always do something special at the birthdays and the Christmas, but this is not about money. It's about building a bond between two people. And, you know, we were talking a little bit earlier about my husband, who was a mentor in our program for so many years, and his little brother has now gone off to school, and I'm not sure he really ever in the beginning had hopes and dreams to do what he's now doing, but with Alan's help and a wonderful mother, he ended up graduating on full scholarship from Georgetown University.
Wow.
And he has now got a wonderful job. He just was married a few weeks ago, has a wonderful young wife, and best of all, he just became last year a big brother in our school-based program. So you can see the full cycle. He really understood what this meant to him, and he's giving back to somebody else. That's what we hope
wonderful.
for to come out of a relationship.
So I think the idea of matching up, I can see where parents can be overwhelmed. Mm-hmm. And certainly today, with so many things going on, and the recession that we've gone through, mm-hmm. We're just not in a position that we may have been in 15, 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. So I know that you have many, many children. Do you have a tough time getting mentors?
Well, I'm glad you brought this up, because anyone listening to this show, you know, I would really encourage you to think about whether or not you would have the time to become a mentor, whether you would have the desire to build a relationship with a child who could use that additional caring adult in their lives. It's not a great deal of time. You know, a reading mentor spends about an hour a week in the schools with their child. A community-based mentor, which is another program we have, maybe 2, 3, 4 hours a week, depending on what activity they choose to do in the community. But in the overall scheme of your life, an hour, 2 hours is really almost nothing to what it gives back to the child. And here I want to make another point, and somebody said it to me just a couple of days ago, reminded me again, it isn't just what you give to a child, it's amazing what the child gives back to you. You know, talking again about Alan and Anthony, I remember in a video that they were a part of, Alan said, you know, this was a wonderful, wonderful experience between the two of them, and he certainly felt like he had given to Anthony, but in the end, he had almost gotten like another son himself, and what the relationship has meant to him. And I can't tell you how often I hear that. So, you know, yes, it is the gift of time that you're giving, but what you get back is just amazing.
I believe that in volunteering mm-hmm. as well, but with children, if you can give your time to them, you always get back so much more than you give. Whether it is spending an hour or 3 hours, and sometimes just being out and sharing a smile with them.
Oh.
What they give back to us is much more than what we ever give.
I want to share another quick story with you because, you know, I see the short-term impacts every day in the smiles and the conversations I hear between mentors and their kids. But you know, people have often said, well, what's really the long-term impact? Well, I shared Anthony's story with you, which is ultimately long-term impact. We had a young man who came and spoke at our Bowl for Kids' Sake kickoff in July, and he's a young man that grew up in Big Brothers Big Sisters. He came to us from a family situation where a parent had been incarcerated, and by the way, we do have a special community-based program that deals strictly with children who have an incarcerated parent. And he went through a lot of struggles, just an amazing number of struggles. Dropped out of school. In fact, you know, he himself caused a suspension and then an expulsion, which he freely admits today. And he ended up going back to get a GED with his mentor's encouragement. You know, the mentor wouldn't give up. And then he went on to IRSC. And at that point, it was still Indian River Community College, because this is a long-time young adult in our program. He graduated with an AA degree, was accepted to University of Florida, got his bachelor's degree at University of Florida, interned at Big Brothers Big Sisters while he was there. Today he is a counselor at Boys Town, and totally turned his life around. He said at our Bowl for Kids' Sake kickoff, had it not been for Vern Melvin, he would not have
I met that young man.
Yeah. And he's such an amazing husband and father today. You know, those are the stories that tell me it's not just the short-term impact, it's the long-term impact. I look at the pictures that are on your wall and I see the hands, helping hands. And that truly is what Big Brothers Big Sisters is all about.
I have met that young man. I actually met him with Vern.
Did you?
Yes, not too long ago. And they're
still together.
They are still together, and he told me much of his story. And you must have hundreds and hundreds of stories like that. So it works.
It does
It
work.
works, and it makes a difference in a child's life. And I think that's so important.
Can I tell you a little bit about a brand new program?
Sure.
This is very exciting to me. You know, we have our kindergarten through third grade reading mentor program that has been very successful over the last, well, since 1998, helping kids who are struggling readers get to third grade and be able to read. And that's so critical, because if they can't read after third grade, they can't read to learn. But our case managers had long been telling me, kids are coming into school at such uneven playing fields, particularly those kids from poverty. And wouldn't it be wonderful if we could do something before kindergarten? So 2 years ago, we were lucky enough through a foundation set of funds to start a pilot in a VPK child care center. The second year we added on another VPK center. This third year we added on another center. All three were in Indian River, but now we've been able to add one on into St. Lucie County at the Albee Queen Townsend Center on Avenue Q and 25th Street. You know, certainly an area where this service can be amazing, and the results from this program have been mind-boggling, literally.
Tell me what the particulars are.
So the particulars of the program are, we're doing one-to-one mentoring with 4-year-old children who are coming from families of poverty, and we're working on 3 areas. We're working on well, actually 4. Social emotional growth, bonding with another caring adult. We're doing phonological awareness. We're doing oral language and vocabulary because that's such a precursor to reading, and we're doing print knowledge. And all 4 of those items are huge precursors to kindergarten readiness. Last year, the statistics were in the 90%, 96% actually, for both phonological awareness and oral language for the kids meeting or exceeding expectations in those areas, and down at 84% for print knowledge. So those kids were all at or above, well, they were all above expectation going into kindergarten. That to me is just another phenomenal new thing that we're doing that is making a difference early on, and it's got a component of family literacy with it too. We just spent $9,000 on books. Take a big deep gulp. But books that are going to be take-home books for the families. We're going to do monthly workshops with the families. We're coordinating with the Parent Academy on this locally. Yes. And parents are going to be referred who need GED, pre-GED prep, or ESL pre-prep there. And then the school district is going to allow us to use their parent center that's in that facility. So between the one-to-one mentoring, the family literacy programs, and the adult basic skills, that's a fantastic program.
You know, it amazes me, and you know I've raised my children, but children that young with a lack of self-esteem, and here they are going into kindergarten, and if they're not prepared, that is a big obstacle to overcome. And when they don't have the self-esteem, I believe, and I know you were on the school board, an educator, but
that's a huge part of
I believe that is an obstacle that will impede them from being able to learn because they are too afraid to
take that risk, to take
the risk.
I have to tell you,
this is wonderful.
A quick story. Up in Vero last year, we have, and that program is run by our AmeriCorps members.
Okay.
And so we had an AmeriCorps member named Mr. Pete, and he was matched with a young man who was very shy. And, 4-year-olds coming in can be very shy, but this little boy was extremely shy and, wouldn't look Mr. Pete in the eye and really wouldn't talk. By the end of that year, the bond that had been established between them, he would just go running when he would see Mr. Pete, and he ended up being their MC for 4-year-old graduation that year.
Wonderful.
So to your point about social emotional growth, that child made all the growth in the world in those other 3 domains, but certainly in social emotional growth too, and that's going to put him in such good stead going into
Absolutely, because kindergarten is scary.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care when you are 5 and you are going into that big school with all of those kids. It's exciting, but it's still scary.
Absolutely.
So, and mom isn't coming with you. No. So, not that they wouldn't like to, but that's just the way it is. So, I know that. First of all, I'm excited about that new program, and I can't wait to see it.
I'll invite you to come out.
Okay, I want to see it spread in St. Lucie County. So you already know that it works.
Yeah.
So now it needs to move on.
Right.
So unfortunately, I understand this Big Brothers Big Sisters is a nonprofit organization, and Big Brothers and Big Sisters, like many organizations, suffered some budget cuts this year, and it's been very, very difficult for them. I get that. But you do a fabulous fundraiser every year.
Yes, we do.
People look forward to it all year long. And this year, it's probably going to be more important than ever to get people out. And I'm not going to steal. You tell me.
Okay.
What do we call that?
It's called Bowl for Kids' Sake.
Yes. Yes.
If anybody had ever told me you could make raise funds on a bowling tournament, I would have told them that they were nuts. But that is our national fundraiser for Big Brothers Big Sisters of America, and agencies throughout the country do Bowl for Kids' Sake. I think this must be close to our, I don't know, 28th year doing it, and it's such a great event. We'll have more than 1,000 people out at the bowling alley, at Super Play, out in St. Lucie West.
Okay.
On September 26th. We start at 9, and we have a lane time that goes from 9 to 11, 11 to 1, 1 to, and 1 to 3. And so we're busy moving 48 lanes full of people in and out of that bowling alley from early in the morning until late in the afternoon, until 5 o'clock. And it's such fun. I have to tell you, this year, your mayor, Greg Orvac, and the mayor of Fort Pierce, Linda Hudson, are our honorary chairs. So we're very excited about this. And Port St. Lucie has already signed up a number of teams, thanks to Ed Fry.
Good.
So we're very excited. And we always look forward to it because it's a great time for us to see people who probably only bowl once a year to come out and support us. I have to be honest, most people who come don't come because of the bowling. They come because they believe in our mission and what we do. But you'll see everybody you know there.
And everybody they really have fun.
It's good.
You don't have to be a bowler, thank goodness.
No, you don't have to be a bowler to have a good time and survive the 2 hours of bowling. Now, you might be a little sore the next day, but it's well worth that to know that you're really helping a child have the same kind of future as the stories I've just shared today.
So you still have some openings for teams?
We still have some openings for teams, so we encourage you to call and sign up for the 1 or the 3 o'clock time frames.
How many people do I need on a team?
4 people
and
per
if
team.
I don't have 4, can you sometimes match me up with someone else?
And if you don't want to bowl yourself, but you'd like to help support the event, there are sponsorships for it. And you can also call in and or go to our website, www.bbbsbigs.org, and sign up to help sponsor one of our kids to go bowling. So, that's also an option as well. And it's just a $35 fee to bowl as an individual. And so 35 times 4 for a team of 4, or 5. We can maybe squeeze 5 on a team if you feel really chummy. And we have some great challenges going on. All the schools are signed up to come out, which is wonderful. And IRSC is always great at coming out. And they've got teams signed up, and we've got our fire chief has issued a challenge, and our clerk of court has issued a challenge, and state's attorney has issued a challenge, along with the public defender. So we'll have lots of fun things to be able to look. And of course, the challenges are not over bowling scores; they're over money raised.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So, but I get that, and we don't have to be bowlers.
No, don't have to be bowlers.
But have been there enough to know that you have some ringers out there.
Oh, yeah, a few.
And you have some very competitive teams.
Yes, we do.
But even with that, it is still so much fun.
It really is fun.
And I
got to tell you why this year it's going to be really fun.
Me.
It's global. It's going to be the neon glow. We're going to turn the lights on. It's going to be black light and glow. So wear your white.
Never heard that before.
Yeah, global. So
we used to do that with nighttime golf.
Yeah. So it should be a lot of fun, and you know, great new T-shirt. It's funny, I see T-shirts back as far as 15, 20 years that people are still wearing. They collect them.
Yes, I know they do. I know they do. But such a wonderful organization. So I can go on the website, I can sponsor a child, I can sign up for a team.
You can sign up to be a mentor.
I was just going to say, so I could also sign up to be a mentor, but I can also sign up just to do a donation because I want to do a donation.
Absolutely.
And that's so important now.
Yeah.
You know, you are a proven nonprofit. You have been in this community, the results are there, the impact studies are there. We know that this works. We know that this makes a difference, not only in the child's life, but I've seen it enough that in the mentor's life. And so, you know, I would urge people to come out and support.
Oh, thank you.
And you know what? If you don't bowl, I used to, broke my wrist, don't anymore. At least go out and spend some time, enjoy the teams. You know, you can make a donation. $5.
Yeah.
Is you know, if you can afford to take out $5 and put it in a jar, it'll be there, and you make a difference. And we all can only do what we can do. And I don't, you know, if you can do more, that's wonderful, but don't let it stop you if you can't. And sometimes it's the gift of time and not the gift of money. So it's always been near and dear. This is a great organization.
Oh, thank you so much.
So September 26th.
Yeah. A major sponsor is Publix Charities, and has been for many, many years, and we're so grateful to them for all that they do. And yeah, we'd love to have everyone come out.
And you bring the kids out, even if they're not bowling, there's places for them to play at Super Play.
Oh yeah.
You can be comfortable with them. There's game rooms. There's something, they can get something to eat, and they can just watch and enjoy. And it's another sport that you may find that one of your kids want to do. And I know Super Play can do the gutter ball things, because I need it. But
yes, I can.
Yeah, but they do it for the little ones. So, you know, it's a great way to take your little ones out and entertain them.
Yeah.
Safe, fun, and connect.
Yeah.
So, funding, donations, as little as you can do or as much as you can do, are all grateful. We're all appreciated. I love the new program. We'll have to stay updated. I think that that's just, the earlier we touch the children, the better. And I'm sure it helps. Not only does it help the parents during their situation, but just through osmosis, you learn a little bit more about connecting with your children. And, you know, we all try. Some kids are more difficult than others. And sometimes we just get so busy, especially when you're in a one-parent household.
Absolutely. And the majority of our kids are.
And, you know, and they are doing everything they can to provide. Sometimes that break that they get makes them better to be able to connect to their own child. And I think that so everybody wins.
And I'm really excited about with the family literacy nights, having parents be able to get together with other parents, because sometimes just sharing amongst each other really makes a difference.
Let me tell you a little story. When my oldest child was very young, we were in a rural community, and I got a note from the teacher saying I invited parents in for a night a month. And so I went. She had everything she was teaching the children there for the parents.
Oh, wow.
And
that's so wonderful.
It was. I can tell you the first time I went, I wasn't sure I appreciated all of it. But, you know, I had game boards that they had made in class to teach them to count, to teach their letters, and I'm thinking, you know, I do this. Why? Until I had a chance to see that that was not necessarily true in that area. And she used to tell us, when you leave here tonight, understand that and the school was closed. She opened up a classroom for us. So it wasn't like it was a parents' night for everyone.
Oh, how
but she would say to us, if you want to learn what your children are learning, you will come back next month. I will not send these supplies home. And I thought, what encouragement. And I will tell you, she had a full classroom every month. Every month. But we went home with laminated colored paper that was made into games that you took those and you reinforced what the teachers were teaching. I have to tell you, my kids still remember her. She was such a fabulous teacher. I often wonder what she is doing these days. I'm sure she's retired, but she impacted, I know she impacted 2 of my children. I'm sure she impacted hundreds, thousands of children along the way. So these classes for the parents to get them to get their GED, whatever they need, are so important. And again, it helps everybody, not just the family. It helps the entire community. So I'm very excited. You have just expanded.
Yes, we have.
I'm so amazed. So we've got that. We can donate, we can bowl, we can call, we can be a mentor. And if we are in a situation that we are not able to cope with, we can contact either through the school and ask them about it, or we can contact Big Brothers Big Sisters and see if we qualify.
We're so lucky in that we even have the support of a mental health counselor that, you know, for situations that are over and above our case manager's level of expertise, where if a family is having issues, or one of the kids in the family that we serve is having issues, that they can get either individual or family health counseling at no cost through our program. So, you know, it's kind of, in lots of respects, a wraparound set of services that we feel so good about, and we just continue to learn about new things and grow and, you know, and do the best job we can for kids.
This community is so lucky that we have these organizations and that this community comes out in force
to support
absolutely and for our children.
Absolutely.
And we're lucky we have, you know, we have Big Brothers Big Sisters, we have other organizations.
Absolutely.
And we focus on our children. Our children are our future, and this community knows it, realizes it, and is willing to work for it. And I'm proud to live here.
Me too.
There's nothing better as far as I'm concerned. Judi, thank you so much for being here today. so much for telling us. You know, I'm hoping the audience learned something, because I can tell you that as far back as we go, I learned a lot today, and I always appreciate that. So again, thank you for being here. Come out, people. Support Big Brothers, Big Sisters. Come out and bowl. Come out and go to the bowling alley on September 26th. See what it's all about if you don't want to bowl this time. Next year, you'll be forming a team. So I get that. But there is just so much fun. And I know that at the end of the day, you don't have any spots for teams.
No, we're good, which is great.
I figure that, you know, and I shouldn't say this out loud, but there's going to be a day that you're going to have to expand it more than one day. But that's just... Okay. Somebody's going to have to expand it more than one day. But that's the
Maybe I'll be retired by then.
That's the kind of community we have.
And that's a wonderful, wonderful thing.
So,
yeah, you can't beat that.
Okay.
Well,
thank you again,
thank
Judi.
you so much for having me today. I really, really appreciate it.
Please stay with us. We'll be right back with more Helping Hands.